I discovered through Instagram that my parents took my sister and her fiancé's family on a trip to Hawaii, and funded the entire vacation using my money. Growing up, I was the older kid, the one who did what he was told. I worked my ass off through high school and university, juggling multiple jobs, waiting tables, tutoring, even some late-night gas station shifts. I wasn't blowing cash on dumb stuff, I was saving it. Back when I was 18, my parents helped me open a joint savings account with them. They said it was a smart move, a way to keep my money safe while I figured out adult life. I trusted them, so I kept putting money in there over the years. Even after I moved out and got my own place, I left it open. Habit, I guess. Plus, they were on the account, and I didn't see a reason to change it. My sister, though, she's 24, and she's always been the golden child. My parents would light up when she walked into a room, always bragging about her to anyone who'd listen. She's not a bad person, just the one who got the attention. I never made a fuss about it. I figured that's just how families work sometimes. I stayed quiet, kept my head down, and did my own thing. Being the good son was my role, and I played it without complaining. The joint account had a decent chunk of money in it, years of my savings from those grindy jobs. I wasn't touching it much, just letting it sit there while I handled my day-to-day stuff with my regular checking account. My parents knew it was my money. They'd even mentioned it a couple times over the years, like when I bought my car and didn't dip into it. They seemed proud I was responsible. At least, that's what I thought. I don't check that account often. It's not like I'm logging in every week to stare at the balance. Life's busy, work, friends, the usual. So it didn't even cross my mind to look at it until this whole mess blew up. And it all started with Instagram, of all places. That's where I first saw the cracks in everything I thought I knew about my family. It was a random Thursday night, and I was scrolling through Instagram on my couch after work. I wasn't looking for anything specific, just killing time, liking pics, watching dumb reels. Then I saw it. My sister posted a story, her in a bikini on a beach, palm trees in the background, caption saying, "Paradise found." I didn't think much of it at first. She's always posting stuff like that, flexing her life for her followers. But then I swiped to the next story, and there was my mom, grinning in a sun hat, holding a drink with one of those little umbrellas. My dad was in the background, squinting at the ocean. I paused. Hawaii. They were in Hawaii. I had no clue they were even planning a trip. No one said a word to me, not a text, not a call, nothing. I figured maybe it was a last-minute thing, but it still felt weird. We're not a tight-knit family, sure, but you'd think someone would have mentioned they were jetting off to an island. I kept scrolling. My sister's fiancé posted next, him with his parents, all of them posing in front of a volcano or something. Then his mom put up a grid post, a group shot with my parents, my sister, her fiancé, and his whole family. Everyone was there, smiling, sunburned, living it up. I sat there, staring at my phone. My entire family was in Hawaii with my sister's fiancé's family, and I wasn't even told. It wasn't just that I wasn't invited, that stung, but I could have brushed it off. It was the fact they didn't even bother to let me know. Like I didn't exist. I started doing the math in my head. Flights to Hawaii aren't cheap. Hotels, food, whatever tourist stuff they were doing, it adds up fast, especially for a big group. My parents aren't rolling in cash. They're comfortable, but not. Drop thousands on a whim. Comfortable. My sister and her fiancé aren't exactly loaded either. Something didn't add up. That's when the thought hit me, the joint account. I hadn't checked it in months, maybe longer. My stomach dropped. I grabbed my laptop, logged into the bank site, and pulled up the account. The balance was way lower than it should have been. A huge chunk was gone, tens of thousands, withdrawn in one big transfer a few weeks back. I clicked into the details. It wasn't a hack or some random charge. It was a direct withdrawal, authorized from the account. My parents had access. They were the only other ones who could have done it. I looked at the bank account again. The balance was nearly zero, tens of thousands gone in one withdrawal, dated 3 weeks ago. I checked the transaction details. The money went straight to my parents' main account, which was linked to the joint one. They had full access, just like me. I compared the date to the Instagram posts. It matched when they'd have booked the Hawaii trip. I went back to Instagram. My sister's fiancé's mom tagged a resort in a post. I looked it up online. It was expensive, thousands per person for group packages. The post showed a luau, a boat trip, and a helicopter tour. This was a big vacation, not a cheap one. At least 10 people were there, my parents, my sister, her fiancé, and his family. My savings didn't just pay for my family, it covered everyone. I confirmed it. The withdrawal amount lined up with the cost of the trip. They'd taken my money, everything I'd saved since I was 18, and used it without asking. I didn't call them yet. I just stared at the screen, piecing it together. They drained the account and spent it all on this. I didn't sleep much that night. The next morning I called my mom. She picked up, sounding cheerful, like nothing was wrong. I asked about the Hawaii trip. She said it was a great time, a family bonding thing with my sister and her fiancé's family. I asked why I wasn't told. She paused, then said it was spontaneous, and they didn't think I'd be interested. I brought up the joint account. She got quiet. I told her I saw the withdrawal, that my savings were gone. She admitted they took the money. Her excuse was that it was just sitting there, and they thought it'd be better used for the trip. She said it was a family expense, like I'd agree. I called my dad next. He backed her up. He said they didn't ask me because they assumed I'd be fine with it, since we're family. He told me not to overreact, that it wasn't a big deal. I asked why I wasn't invited if it was a family thing. He mumbled something about logistics and changed the subject. They didn't apologize. They acted like I was the one being unreasonable for questioning it. I texted my sister after. She replied quick, saying she didn't know the details, just that mom and dad handled it. She told me to chill out, that it was a fun trip and I shouldn't ruin it for everyone. No one cared that they'd used my money. No one thought I deserved a heads up. I couldn't let it go. I called the bank that afternoon. I explained the joint account situation and asked what I could do. They said since my parents were authorized, the withdrawal was legal. I asked to close it. They walked me through it, transferred the last few $100 to my personal account and shut it down. It was done in 20 minutes. That account, the one I trusted them with for a decade, was gone. I stopped replying to my family after that. My mom sent a text a day later, asking why I was upset over a little money. My dad left a voicemail, saying I was acting childish. My sister posted more Hawaii pics on Instagram, not a word about me. I unfollowed her. I unfollowed all of them. I didn't want to see it anymore. Work kept me busy, but my head was still on the trip. I checked the bank app sometimes, half expecting the money to reappear. It didn't. I realized they weren't going to pay me back. They didn't even offer. The more I thought about it, the more it sank in. They didn't just take my cash. They took it and left me out, like I didn't matter. That hurt worse than the dollar amount. A week went by with no word from my family. I didn't reach out either. I pulled up old bank statements and found small withdrawals, hundreds taken over years, unnoticed until now. They'd been using my money long before Hawaii. That flipped a switch. I wasn't just hurt, I was done. I started looking for a way to push back. I remembered my sister's fiancé's family owned rental properties. I found their business online, 5 listings on a rental site. One had a dozen bad reviews, broken plumbing, no heat, angry tenants. I took screenshots of everything. Then I searched local housing regulations. The property violated at least 3 codes based on the complaints. I drafted an email to the city housing board, attaching the evidence, keeping it anonymous. I didn't send it yet, just saved it, letting the idea simmer. Next, I called a lawyer friend from work. I asked about joint accounts and what I could do. He said I couldn't get the money back legally since they had access, but I could sue for breach of trust. I told him to start drafting papers, nothing filed yet, just ready. I wasn't sure I'd go through with it, but having options felt good. They'd cross me, and I was done playing nice. This was the start. I didn't stop at the draft email or the lawyer papers. I kept moving. My sister's fiancé's family posted more about their business on Instagram. Some proud owner, shot in front of a property. I recognized the address from the rental site. I drove by it that weekend. The place was a dump, peeling paint, cracked windows, trash in the yard. I took pictures, timestamped them, and added them to my file. The housing board would eat this up if I sent it. Then my mom called. First time in weeks. She asked why I'd gone quiet. I said I closed the joint account. She got defensive, said I was overreacting, that the money wasn't a big deal. I asked about the smaller withdrawals from years back. She stumbled, then said they were for family needs. I hung up. No point in arguing, they never admit fault. I went back to the lawyer. Told him to finish the breach of trust papers and file them. He submitted them to the court that afternoon, small claims, just under the limit, enough to demand my money back. I didn't tell my parents yet. Let them find out when the summons hit. Meanwhile, I sent the housing board email. Anonymous, with all the proof. 2 days later, a local news site posted about an investigation into rental violations. The fiancé's family's business was named. It was starting to roll. Things were moving fast. The housing board investigation hit my sister's fiancé's family hard. Their business got slammed online, more tenants came forward with complaints, and a second property was flagged for code violations. My parents called me after the lawsuit papers arrived. My dad yelled about disloyalty. My mom cried and said I was tearing the family apart. I didn't budge. I told them they stole from me, and this was the consequence. They hung up, but I knew they were rattled. I kept checking the news. The rental business was hemorrhaging money, tenants were breaking leases, and the fiancé's dad posted a desperate, "We're fixing this" statement on their site. My sister texted me, begging me to stop, saying I was ruining her engagement. I didn't reply. The lawsuit was set for a hearing in 2 weeks. My lawyer said we had a decent shot since I could prove the account was mostly my contributions. I felt in control for once. Then the twist came. I got an email from the bank, routine security check on my personal account. I logged in to verify, and my checking balance was off. Not drained, but lower. I pulled the transactions. A withdrawal, $5,000 from 3 days ago. I hadn't made it. I called the bank. They said it was an authorized transfer, someone had my login. I never gave it out, but my parents knew my old passwords from years back. I'd used the same one for the joint account before. They'd hacked in and taken more. I called the lawyer immediately. He said it was a new crime, unauthorized access provable with bank records. We amended the lawsuit that day, upping the claim to include the $5,000 and pushing it to criminal fraud. I filed a police report too. The bank froze my account to investigate, but the money was already moved to an unknown account. I checked Instagram. My sister posted a story, her and her fiancé at a car dealership, captioned, "New ride soon." The timing lined up. They'd used my cash again, thinking I wouldn't notice. I drove to the police station with the screenshots. The officer took my statement and said they'd traced the transfer. My lawyer called later, said the fraud charge could mean jail time if we proved it. I didn't hesitate. I told him to go all in. They'd underestimated me twice now. I wasn't stopping. The police tracked the $5,000 transfer within a week. It went to my sister's fiancé's account, same day as her new ride post. They'd bought a car with it. The bank confirmed my old password was used, tying it back to my parents. The fraud case was solid. My lawyer pushed the lawsuit and the criminal charges together. The hearing came fast. My parents showed up, no lawyer, thinking they could talk their way out. They admitted taking the joint account money but denied the $5,000. The bank records and police report proved them wrong. The judge ruled in my favor, ordered them to repay every cent from the joint account, plus the $5,000, with interest. The fraud charge stuck too, misdemeanor theft. They got probation and fines, no jail, but it hit their record. My sister's fiancé's family crumbled under the housing investigation. They lost 3 properties to violations and fines, sold the rest to cover it. The engagement fell apart. His parents blamed her for dragging them into it. She stopped posting online. My parents tried calling after the ruling, left voicemails about fixing things. I didn't pick up. I moved the repaid money to a new account, locked down with no ties to them. I cut contact completely. No texts, no calls, nothing. Work stayed steady, and I started saving again, this time smarter. The revenge worked, the housing mess trashed their business, the lawsuit drained my parents' savings, and the fraud charge marked them. They thought I'd stay quiet like always. They were wrong. I'm done being the good son. I've got my life now, and they're not part of it.